Hey guys, so I'm going to record a split series. This really will target your quads, hamstrings, piriformis, pretty much all of the muscles in the upper leg. And I really like to do this in my flexibility classes, especially in my split focus classes. So I'm going to take you through it. It's about, I think, 20 minutes. All right, so we're going to start on our knees. Starting on your knees, I'm going to come up onto those knees, and now you're going to bring that right leg out in front of you. Now we're doing this because now you know the foot placement that you need for your front lunge. So now I'm bending that front leg and going into a front lunge position. I'm stacking my body over my hips. My back leg is pushing into the floor, and my knee is tracking slightly, probably in line with my toes. You don't want it too far over your toes to start, just because we really want that focus on that hip flexor. So we're going to stay here and hang out for about a minute-ish. Getting that timer ready. Now while you're here, you can play with the arms, you can play with that upper body. You want to sweep the arms all the way up and back. That's also an option. That also really works that front hip flexor in that left leg. All right, so we've been here for about 40 seconds. Woo-hoo. All right, now we've been here for almost a minute. I want you to tuck the back toes under. Once you tuck those back toes under, do not raise your head. So the only thing that you're going to raise up off the ground is the back knee. Now what that looks like, you're going to raise it up. Now dip that knee down into the catch-up and straighten it. Dip it down and straighten it. Do 5 of these. Down and straighten. 4, 5. Now on that last one, I want you to let that back knee come down. I want the top of the toes to come down. Then you can come to the inside of that right leg. Now while I'm here, I'm pushing my hips down towards the ground. Push those hips towards the ground. Push that back leg into the ground. Push, push, push. I'm on my hands as of right now. If you can go lower, then you'll want to go down to the forearms. And we're holding here for probably almost another minute. Now, things to think about in this position. This front leg, you can let that fall open and closed. That actually feels really nice on the glute med. Falling open and closed. Hanging out here. And if you want to challenge yourself even further, you can walk the hands out all the way in front. Woo! Yay! All right. Exhale. Breathing into the stretch, that's also really, really important. Woo. Still gonna hang out for a second. Now with the back leg, I want you to flex your back foot and kick your butt for 5 times. So kick the butt, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I want you to come up on this front toe for 5. So coming up on the toe for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice. Now that we've sat in this position for about a minute, we are going to go into our hamstring stretch. All right, hamstring stretch, we're coming up onto the left knee. So I'm coming onto my left knee. My right leg is going to straighten. Now there's some things to think about in this position. I like to come up, bring my torso above so I can stack my body over my hips, pull my front femur into my hip bone. That's going to be really important when you're stretching this hamstring muscle. So my hips are stacked right over the knee, pulling this femur right into the hip, and I'm thinking about leading with my chest, keeping a flat back as you try to get the chin to go towards that opposite wall. So there's none of this rounding of the back. That's not going to give you the proper stretch that you really, really want to get in that back hamstring. So keeping a flat back. I like to flex my foot for some extra fun. Flex your foot. Try to bring that chin past your foot to that opposite wall. So flex your foot and point it. Flex it and point it. Flex. If you want to pull those toes back, flex, flex, flex. Woo. Point it. And flex. Now we're here, we're going to windshield wiper our feet. So that means externally rotate the toes away from the body, open and closed. So externally rotate that whole leg in the hip, not just the foot. That whole leg is moving within that pelvis. Now on about the 5th external rotation, so my toes are facing away from the body, I want you to bring your chest over to that right side. So I'm right here, I'm over to the right of that front leg. Ooh, feeling a nice pull. Oh, feels so good. Oh gosh, feel that. Hold it. Woo. It's really nice. Breathing here again. I feel like I should start a conversation. Once you've held here for about a minute, then we're going into our quad stretch. Quad stretch. Bring the body back to neutral. Now we're going to bend the front leg. Front leg's going to bend. I want to keep my hips also going forward. I'm going to pull my back leg so that my heel tries to touch my bum. Now, once I pull it in as much as I can, I'm going to grab the top of my foot and bring my heel to my bum. Now, if this is not enough stretch for you, if you need to get like upright into it, you can come up onto the left knee. Come up onto your left knee and try to bring that heel to your bum. Keeping an upright chest. Really feeling a nice release in that left quad. Hold it. Sometimes it's nice to try to flex the front leg and relax it. Ooh. And now we're going to release that back leg slowly. Now the front leg, we're going into our pigeon pose. What that looks like, pigeon or piriformis pose, whatever you like to call it, I'm going to heel toe my right front foot over to that left wall. So I'm heel toe, all the way down. So I've made a right angle with my front leg and my back leg is pushing into the ground. Now another thing to think about here is you want that right hip and the right knee in line with each other. You don't want that knee to track outward. That's not going to give you really the stretch that you're looking for. If you want a more intense stretch, you can scooch this front knee into the midline of your body. And then from here, think about pulling that butt to this back wall. So I'm pulling in, I'm actively pulling in as my chest is trying to reach towards that opposite wall. So I'm really, really pulling, pull, pull, pull. And if you want to try to get even lower, that's also a possibility, coming to the forearms, trying to pull that floor, pull the floor towards you. We're going to hang out here for a bit. Pull it, pull it, pull it. Pulling the floor. And you want to stay here for about 1 minute to 2 minutes. We really should be doing it for 2 minutes each, but this is my abbreviated stretch. If you want to go for longer, then just hold everything for 2 minutes. Woo. Okay. I feel like you've held it for a while. Now let's tuck the back toes under. So tuck those back toes under and really straighten that back knee up off the floor. Back knee's coming off the floor. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release that back knee down. Now I'm on this front hip. I'm going to put my weight on that front hip. I'm going to bend that back leg. My front leg is going to straighten. So it's like you're in like a herky position. If you ever did cheerleading, the back leg is bent, that front leg is straight. We're pretty much opposite of what we were. Now I want you to flex that front foot really, really hard. And I want you to try to pull those toes back towards your face. Trying to keep flat back, trying to get compression between the chest and that upper thigh. Rocking from left to right. Ooh. Nice. So now we're going to try to do some rolls. Grabbing my foam roller. You have a foam roller, that is ideal. If you don't, you can also use a sock. If you have something like a paper plate on carpet, you can use that for sliding. But I am going to put my front foot on this foam roller here, and I'm going to let my leg slide out as far as I can slide it out until I can pull it back successfully. So I want to start here, I'm going to slide it out, and come back, slide it out, back, slide it, back, slide. If you have a wall nearby, that's also good to use as a just in case spotting tool. Now once you've done about 8 of those, remove that foam roller. Frame the front leg, and then think about that front leg going as far forward as you can get that front leg to go. Once that front leg has gone out as far as it possibly can, if that back leg is bent, I want you to try to push it against the floor. So push against the floor so that it's straight. Now once you have that pushing straight, the back leg against the floor, think about moving that front leg a little bit further. So a little bit further, and then that back leg is still going to try to push really straight into that ground. Woo! Put myself in frame. Nice. Now wherever you are at in this split, I want us to hold this for legit 2 minutes. So we need to hold this for 2 minutes. Pretend like we're holding for 2 minutes. Feel free to pause it and time yourself. Woo. I also am a proponent of rocking in the splits. Rocking always feels good. And then our last but not least little cherry on top is to tuck the back toes under and straighten that back leg to get some active flexibility here. So we're pushing actively. Push, push, push. Woo, hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax it. Now other side. Oh, awesome, you guys. All right, other leg. Now that we know what we're doing, we're starting on our knees. Just to get the proper placement, that left leg is going to go out straight. Face is cut off. Left leg's going out straight. I want you to bend that left leg, thinking about squaring the hips. Another fun way to think of squaring the hips, you take that right hand, you see how it makes an L. You want to find your gluteal fold right where that hip makes a crease and push it downward. That will also get your hips square in this position. Back leg is pushing actively against the floor. I'm going to hold here for a good amount of time. Hopefully, we should be holding for 2 minutes. I know I keep saying it, but I also want to get this in. Under 20 minutes stretching. So upright chest, holding it. So much fun. How's your day going? Good? Good. Awesome. Ooh. So now I'm going to tuck my back toes under, and again, pretend like we have a ceiling of fire above us. We cannot let our head go up at all. Only this knee is going to lift. So I'm here, lifting that back knee. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now back knee comes down. I want you to come to the inside of that left foot. Now pushing those hips down towards the floor. Pushing those hips down. Woo! Feels good. Now if you can go a little bit further, I would advise to do so. So try to get to those forearms. Pushing those hips down again. I'm still pushing my hips into the floor. My front leg can fall open and close. That's really Just an added bonus of fun stretch. So I'm not sure you can see it, but it's falling open and closed. Holding here, and then if you can reach out with the arms, that's also another bonus stretch. Woo! Now we're going to take the back leg. My back leg is my right leg, and I'm going to try to hit my butt for 5. Also flexing my foot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to come up on my left toe. Not sure if you can see this, but pretend like my hands are straight, but I'm coming out on my left toe for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the only way you can see it, but I would advise you stay just like this. Nice. Now we're going into our hamstring stretch. We're coming up on that right knee. My left leg is going out straight. Same things apply here. So your hips are stacked right over your knee. Chest is upright to start. You want to pull that femur into your pelvis. So pulling the femur into the pelvis, thinking chest, leading with the chest, flat, flat back. Thinking about blossoming the bum, flexing the foot. Oh, there it is. Haven't stretched this in a bit. Flex that foot. Now our goal is to try to get forearms down to the ground. Flex, flex. All the while trying to bring that chin to the opposite wall. So good. Flex your foot and point it. Flex it and point it. Now windshield wiper those toes. External rotation of the front toes. Now keeping the external rotation, I'm going to be turned away from the camera now, but you're going to take both hands and go to the same side of that flexed foot. So I'm using my left foot that's flexed out straight, so I'm coming to the left side of my left foot. Bring that whole body over to that side. Ooh, feels good. Holding it here, still holding it. I see you. Be good, flex it. Oh my Lord. Now we're coming back to neutral. Now our quad stretch is next. Quad stretch, we're bending the front leg. Front leg is going to bend. Push those hips down towards the floor. Back heel, you're trying to touch your butt, but now with an added bonus, that inside arm is going to try to come around and reach that back top of the foot, trying to pull the heel towards the bum. Now, if this is not enough stretch for you, again, like I said previously, you can come up on that right knee, pull that heel to the bum. Woo! It's like an explosion in your quads. Woo! So good. Hold this. Hold it good. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release that back leg. Now we're going to heel toe this front leg over to the opposite wall. So my knee, my hip come down. Now this is an open hip. This isn't really optimal for this stretch. I want you to take the hips, square them. So our pelvis are like headlights facing the opposite wall. Back leg is really pushing towards the floor. And I've got my hip and my knee of the front leg in line. So we're all in one line here. You can even scooch that front knee over towards the midline of the body to get even more of a pull on your piriformis. Then think about pulling this front hip back towards the back wall while your chest is pulling towards this front wall. Ooh, active stretching. A lot of times people just like to relax in this pose, which is a good stretch. But if you're actively pulling and giving resistance in an active stretch, that's going to get more gains over amount of time. Ooh. Hold this. Goodness. Also, you don't want any knee pain in this stretch. If you start to get knee pain, scooch this outer foot closer to your crotch. And if this is something where you're not near the floor, you can take a block and stick it under the front bum. So front bum can be here, and that'll take any knee pain or knee issues out of it. Definitely no knee pain in our piriformis stretch. Holding it. Oh, yeah. Now with this one, we're tucking those back toes under again. Back toes under, you're going to tuck them, straighten that back leg so that that back knee comes up off the floor. Keep holding here for a little bit. Ooh, yeah. Doing great, you guys. Now release that back knee. Bring the torso up. Now the front leg, we've got our weight on it already. Now I just want you to kind of switch to that hip. Back leg is going to bend. Front leg is going to straighten. Just like, say, if you were watching cheerleaders do those herky jumps. That's what this looks like. My front leg, I'm going to flex the foot really intensely. So flexing that front foot intense. Walking the body down towards those toes. Still thinking about chin to the opposite wall. If you can, think about raising the front heel off the floor. That'll be a nice calf explosion. Ooh, and then rocking from left to right. Yeah. So now we're ready for our foam roller rolls, or if you don't have a foam roller, grab a plate you can slide on a carpet. If you want, if you have a wood floor or tile floor, grab some socks and just use your foot. I'm going to use this foam roller. Foam roller starts here. I'm coming up on my right knee. I'm going to have this foam roller here, down, and I'm going to bring it up, down, bring it up, down, bring it up, down. This is making us contract the hip flexor muscles, using the muscles while they're in a stretch state. So that's also strengthening in the stretch. So usually at our end ranges, that's where the body is weakest. But if we start to strengthen the body in its end range, then that gives you a nice, it closes the gap between passive and active stretching. I think I'm going to go for about one more is good. Woo. Now I'm going to relieve the foam roller of its duties. My front leg, again, I'm going to start it out straight. I'm framing the front leg with my arms. My front leg is going to go all the way forward as far as it possibly can. Once you've gone to its furthest limit, then take the back leg, push it straight against the floor. Once you've pushed it straight against the floor, try to push that front leg a little bit further. Push that front leg. Then again, pushing that back leg towards into the ground. Push, push, push. If you're in your split, feel free to roll around. I feel like that's the most gratifying part of this, is to roll around in the split. Woo! Flex the feet, point them, and then the last thing we're going to do, the cherry on top, is to tuck those back toes and try to bring the back knee up off the ground for our active split. Hold that for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo, bring it down. Come on out of it. Awesome job, everybody. Happy stretching.